June 2026. The tunnel at MetLife Stadium is suffocatingly loud. A 34-year-old Neymar prepares to step onto the pitch. The entire nation of Brazil is watching him. They are watching the iconic yellow number 10 jersey, expecting a miracle. They want the magic that tied Pele's scoring record. Brazil still wants the old Neymar back. The problem is, that player no longer exists. The explosive winger who danced through defenses is gone, leaving behind a man who must now use his mind to survive. There are many in Brazil who believe this entire experiment is already doomed. That relying on a fading, injury-prone star in modern tournament football is a massive mistake. To understand why Dorival Jr. is taking this massive risk, you have to remember what Neymar used to be. For over a decade, he was the ultimate weapon of footballing chaos. An explosive, terrifying force on the left wing. He brought the raw, untamed flair of because everyone knew something chaotic was about to happen. You might think that style is dead. It isn't. He played with an arrogance that felt like it belonged to another era entirely. He was a player who invited tackles just to prove he could escape them. That was the player who formed the legendary MSN trio at Barcelona. But that era of Neymar is permanently over. Time, trauma, and the brutal reality of professional football have forced an evolution. The turning point wasn't a slow, graceful decline into the twilight of his career. It was a sudden, physical collapse. October 2023, a World Cup qualifier against Uruguay, one awkward step on the turf in Montevideo. A major ACL injury destroyed whatever remained of his athletic peak. The explosive burst of pace that defined his entire career, it's gone. The physical capacity to outrun the relentless pressing of the modern game has been completely stripped away. The modern football machine was designed to destroy players like him. But instead of breaking, he rebuilt his entire game around manipulation instead of acceleration. Think about the psychological toll of that reality. For your entire life, your body has been a cheat code. You could always rely on that extra gear to get you out of trouble when 3 defenders closed in. And then, suddenly, the gear isn't there anymore. You see the gap. Your brain tells your legs to accelerate, but the defender catches you. It's humiliating. It forces you to completely deconstruct your own identity on the pitch. He had only 2 choices: surrender to his injuries and fade into irrelevance in Saudi Arabia, or completely reinvent how he played the game. So he adapted. He couldn't outrun defenders anymore. So he stopped trying to. Now, when Neymar drops deep into the midfield to receive the ball, he acts as a gravitational center. He intentionally slows his movement. He waits. He invites the pressure. He draws 2, sometimes 3 defenders toward him. And when the opposition is completely focused on him, explosive runners like Vinicius Jr. tear into the empty space he just created. He is transformed from a chaotic winger into the ultimate tempo controller. He no longer tries to run past opponents. Instead, he manipulates the rhythm of the entire pitch. Look at how he operates now. He doesn't hug the touchline anymore. He drifts into the half spaces. He receives the ball in a half turn, already scanning the next defensive rotation. He's reading defensive rotations 2 passes ahead, scanning for defensive imbalance before it fully appears. If the opposition presses him aggressively, he slips a one-touch pass around them. If they drop off, he carries the ball just enough to provoke them. He understands that his slowness is actually a weapon. In a sport obsessed with who can run the fastest, Neymar figured out how to win by standing completely still. It is a stunning display of tactical maturity from a player who was once defined by pure instinct. Modern Brazil is built to run. Dorival Jr. has assembled a squad full of terrifying vertical runners. Vinicius, Rodrigo, Endrick, Martinelli. They are a team built for devastating, high-speed offensive transitions. When they win the ball back, they want to attack the goal in 3 seconds flat. They are absolutely lethal on the counterattack. But World Cup knockout football isn't always about running. Sometimes it's about surviving chaos long enough to control it. Against deep, compact defensive blocks that refuse to leave their penalty area, speed is not enough. You can't counterattack a team that doesn't attack you. Most teams panic in this situation. Brazil doesn't. Because they have the one player who can put his foot on the ball and slow the game down, they need an anchor. Neymar provides a moment of absolute stillness when the rest of the team is rushing. The only player capable of breaking down a low block through pure vision and threaded passes. You have to wonder if any other player in history could transition so seamlessly. From being the most chaotic player on the pitch to becoming the one controlling the chaos. But this tactical evolution comes with a massive, undeniable risk. To play Neymar in this central role, the team must cover for his drastically reduced pressing intensity. When Brazil loses the ball, they are essentially defending with 10 men. The midfield has to do his running for it. Players like Bruno Guimaraes and Lucas Paqueta must cover an impossible amount of ground. And a World Cup isn't played in isolated moments. It's played every 3 days. Across different cities, different climates, different physical demands. You travel from the humidity of Miami to the altitude of Mexico City. And at 34 years old, that matters. If Brazil reaches the later stages, his deteriorating fitness will become a heavily targeted weakness. Opposing managers won't just respect his passing range. They will ruthlessly exploit the spaces he leaves behind in transition. They will overload his zone, forcing the rest of the Brazilian midfield to stretch until it breaks. It is the ultimate tactical trade-off. The manager must sacrifice structural defensive solidity to accommodate his brilliant, aging mind. If the midfield pivots lose the physical battles in the center of the park, the entire Brazilian system will collapse around him. Because in Brazil, the number 10 is never allowed to be a victim of circumstance. And in tournament football, systems built on physical compromise rarely survive 7 matches. But what happens when the number 10 finally accepts his own mortality? For the first time in his international career, the narrative has fundamentally shifted. Brazil no longer needs Neymar to be the undisputed best player in the world. They no longer need him to be the superhero who single-handedly drags them to victory. They simply need him to be the smartest version of himself, to make the rest of the incredibly talented machine function perfectly. He is the final puzzle piece now, not the entire picture. If Neymar survives the physical toll of this tournament, Brazil may finally have the tactical balance they've searched for since 2002. If he doesn't, their entire system may collapse under the weight of its own speed. World Cup 2026 will not ask Neymar to become Brazil's hero again. It will ask something far more difficult: to survive long enough for his mind to matter. Subscribe for more tactical stories behind the players defining World Cup history.